So today on Project Shop, we are finally going to get on this big old trailer over here. We got a big old hole here where the brown car used to sit. My editor's actually coming to pick that car up right now, get it out of here finally. So we got tons of room, and I just want to keep moving with cleaning up around here. So we need to pull this out. I'm going to move my car down there. We're going to pull this out on the road now that I got the forklift fixed. And we're gonna start chopping that top off of there. This thing here, I believe, is loose. We just probably could pick that right up off of there. And then once I get it out on the road, I'm gonna start extending that boom out. And then I'm just gonna start whacking it off like every 4 foot and turn that into prepared steel. We're gonna get a bunch of aluminum ends where the things are, a bunch of number 2 wire. Oh man, you know what, I was almost excited that there was going to be wire, but now looking at it, they've already cut the wire out. Looks like it went through those tubes right there. I'm not too worried about that, but we have a mess over here. So I'm just going to hook onto this thing with a forklift and drag it out of here, and yeah, we'll knock one more thing off the list, because I want to get this deck cleared, because I need to set this big boy generator up on top of it, clear some space. We're kind of getting crowded, so we're in the let's clear everything out phase at the moment. So I'm gonna get a couple things moved out of the way, and we're gonna just hook onto this thing. I'm not sure how much tongue weight's on the front, but I think we're still pretty good. And then I'm gonna power up that winch up top. Hopefully it'll start pushing that boom out. If not, that's gonna be a situation, but I think we'll get it. And I don't know if it's going to push them out even. I think that's the way it works. I think it's gonna push it out even. I might have to push that thing all the way out. I don't know. That's going to be interesting. All right, it's been, I don't even know how long that thing's been sitting there, a good year. It used to be actually over here, and then I moved it over in front of this bay. Look at all the room we're getting. I totally forgot I even had that tenant cleaner. I wish it was running. I'd clean all this shit up with it. Well, it runs, but it has a hydraulic leak. Man, what a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear this stuff off the top real quick, and these winches are 110, so I'm going to bring over an extension cord, and then I'm just going to boom this extension out and start whacking it off. It looks like we can probably just unbolt. Wow, they don't even look like they're easy. They got little handles on them. We're probably just gonna torch them right off. Now this is galvanized, so we gotta be careful with the fumes. We got the sun that I installed up here, a little LED light. Yeah, that's gonna be a little project. I wanted to get it over here so that I could start booming it out. I could even use these outriggers. I'll pull these outriggers out, start booming this thing back, and you know, extend that boom out and just whack it every 4 feet we'll make it prepared steel. Once I get going with it, I'll probably bring the plasma cutter out. I don't even know if it'll reach that far. Or, I mean, I could put this thing on an angle and boom it, just boom it towards the bay. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get something going. But that's some thick stuff. But the plasma cutter make light work with that. This is a 4 tiers. Wow. Wow, dude. This thing, this thing's got to go up every bit of 75, 80 feet. And it's a shame. I already pulled them out. But there were 16 1500 watt transformers up in here. We gutted them first thing. They had to go. And the crazy thing is, I drove this to my shop from Delray, which is pretty far away. Someone had burned the bolts off. I didn't see it. And this thing could have teetered off. I mean, I drove slow, so we were probably all right. But and all kinds of stuff, man. So we'll clear this deck off, and then we'll see what we got here. This is all the controls right here, I believe. This is where we plug it in. I think this is the 2 winches. Oh, that button's completely gone. I forget which winch worked. One of these worked. I had fired them up before. We'll recover those. We're going to keep them winches. That looks like a decent cable. And it's got some pulleys and doodads and whatnot. I don't know how much of all that will recover, but we're going to just start whacking this thing up, man. I guess we got more pulleys up in here, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we're just gonna torch it. I don't want nothing but these beams. I don't know if I want these or not. I might keep those. That's some nice steel. And this structure here. My original goal when I got this trailer originally was to take that thing, cut it off, that like and weld it to the back of the trailer and extend the trailer out that far and make this a big, I think it'd be a 20-foot deck. And then I wanted to take one of these, since they're already like cut on an angle, weld it right here and bring the deck out to about here or somewhere, wherever it would have made 20 feet. And then this would be a nice flat deck trailer. And another thing, it's got a 6-inch spacer. I'd love to drop the deck down 6 inches, man. Get rid of all this heavy steel here. I don't know if we're gonna have time to cut that off tonight, but hey, we might. We're just gonna keep at it. Got some probably really dry rotted tires. I think these are the same tires and lugs as what's on my dump trailer, so if I had to, I could just swap them tires on here real quick if I needed to do something. Or we'll just get some tires for this. We gotta take this rim off, sandblast it before it gets too far gone. And this was actually like a brand new, I mean, there really wasn't any hours on this thing, dude. There was a generator that sat back here to power this whole thing, but they took that off, and a bunch of spare parts. But okay, we're gonna clean this thing off and then start cutting. All right, we got this thing pretty much all cleaned off, man. That's a nice thick trailer deck. Just got a couple holes we need to patch up and a bunch of crap we need to cut off to lighten this thing up. I'm not sure what. Let's see. What's one of these? It's not that one. Or it might just be bad connections. We might just have to go right to the source. Oh. Oh. Okay. So that is powering the right one. Now, I have to look and see if there's a lock or something. If that's pulling, it should start pushing this out. Let's see. Oh. Looks like we might have to get a switch on here. Alright. Let me go find a switch and a screwdriver. Let's get in this box because, one, I don't want it to stick on. I guess I could just unplug it, but it did move it out. And like I thought, it is going to move each section the same amount. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is move it out. I'm going to pull these outriggers out, set them up, and then I'll push it out and get up there, whack this whole back end off, and then that's probably 4 feet. Whack that off. We can whack it. I don't want to cut it twice. I guess we're gonna have to because we got to separate it. Or what I could do is when I whack it there, since I want to cut these in 4 feet, I'll whack it here, and then we could just keep inching it out 4 foot, 4 foot, and we'll just cut it and cut it and cut it. And then I got to figure out how that boom comes out of there, because I'm sure it has a stop somehow, some way, to where it's not going to let you just push it all the way out. I mean, once we get it out and the individual sections, I can just probably cut the individual section and drop it down. And oh wow, it has a two pick points where I could probably just pick this whole thing up off of this trailer. I don't know if that little mini forklift has got the cojones to do that, but theoretically we could rig onto that and pull that pin. I'm gonna assume that freaking boom probably weighs every bit of 2,000 pounds or more. I don't know. That's a good whew, man. And I don't know if that rigging point is set up for if it had all the domes and the lights up there, and if it was like balanced there. I'm not really sure, but I know what I think I'm going to do is probably extend it out, do all the cutting I can, whack the back end of this thing right off, and then I'll pick that. If that pin doesn't want to come out, I think I put that bolt in there because there was none in there. That pin might be seized. That just might be a torch job, and I'm limited on my torch, so shoot, I gotta really think about this, man. Anyway, let me go get the switch, and then let's get this started first and get this end cut off, and then we can figure out everything else from there. All right, we had a little lightning storm go on, so I decided not to stand out here and mess with a giant lightning rod, but it is clearing up. See the moon now. We might get back on it, but I did decide to change gears. These drums have been sitting out back for like some of them actually were here when I got here from the neighbor. So some of these have been settling for like 3 years. What I've done is I've moved the finished product. We did it was almost an 80-hour run. It was like 79 hours and 50 something minutes I ran that machine. And then it actually started making some weird noise before I shut it off. I don't know if it got out of balance or if the bowl was just full. I don't know. But we're about to pop that thing open and see what was going on in there. And then I brought back in the original tote that I was pulling from the bottom. Okay, we're going to do something a little different now. I experimented with that thing out there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut in here like this, like that, with a razor blade. I'm sorry, we're going to cut in here like this, this, and that with a razor blade so I can fold this up. And then I'm going to slip this high-tech apparatus that I've built out of a tube and a rotella thing. And basically, hopefully this will just float on the top. And then that'll pull the top 2 inches. And then this hose can just kind of dangle in there. We're going to hook it directly to the pump. And it'll float up and down. And hopefully just constantly keep me at the top 2 inches. Now, this stuff here has been settled pretty much for over a week now. Oh, sounds like the boss is calling. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my cuts, get this set up, and I'm gonna start running the machine again. I'll come back here and show you what was in an 80-hour run of a second pass. And then once I get this going, I might start up on the tower tonight. But I did find some fit-ins. I don't know if I have the right hose. I did find some fit-ins for my static blender. I got to figure out where I'm going to set it up. I think I'm going to set it up over here for now. I'm just out of room here, or I maybe, well, this is my problem. I don't have enough. I basically need 2 racks and 8 totes to do what I want to do. That way I can run 2, hey, maybe even 3 passes and keep putting it in different bins. And from now on, even this tote up here, we're gonna pull from the top, which means we're gonna have to hook everything to a pump. I mean, that one there could possibly be put from the bottom. Where do we go?
That hook I just handed you.
Oh, it's right here. Maybe the first pass, maybe I might just leave that from the bottom so it can just feed down by itself and I don't have to run the pump. I don't know, like I said, this is all kind of up in the air. It's you know, a work in progress, but we're getting better and better. I got to figure out, I looked online and I got to go to Home Depot for some other things. I'm going to do the pricing. I did find something, basically I can buy a manifold. So I got to look into, wow, look at all the condensation on that. Huh, that's funny. That's crazy how it's just on this pink or blue hose. Yeah, I don't know. And this is small enough because I want to blend it like as it comes out of the machine on its final pass. I want to run it through the blender. So we're gonna have to figure out like the heights of things. I think eventually our totes are gonna have to go higher. I'm gonna need more room here. I want room. I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I said, it's a work in progress. So let me get a couple things sorted out and get these lines changed around, and then we'll come back. And what I did here is, see this copper? This is just a stainless steel thing. I don't even know where it came from, but I took a piece of PVC and slid it up on there, and I put a collar on the PVC, and I wrapped the copper around it so that it won't slide up. And it's actually, you can see I twisted the copper right here. I pulled it up so it's tight. So when I put oil in here, all the new dirty oil that's coming in, all the fresh dirty stuff I'm picking up is going in here and going straight down to the bottom. Just a long funnel all the way to the bottom. So all this oil that's been sitting in here for a week, it's been settled. I just poured almost 100 gallons in there. All that went to the bottom and pushed all that oil up that's been settling, so we didn't kind of interfere with it. And I'm going to put this in here, and hopefully we're going to pull right off the top. And I'm really curious to see how much gunk we get in it this time opposed to last time. So very interesting. I'm really excited for this, and I'm ready to blend. I'm ready to use the static blender. I gotta just decide whether I'm gonna put a tote up here with fresh diesel. I have that tote there, but I cut a hole in the top prematurely, thinking I was going to use it for this, but I decided just to use this because it already had oil in it. Anyway, I'm rambling, gotta go. All right, here we go. Now, before I show you the bowl, I don't know what happened, but my hose, that hose, which was originally in here, somehow got pinched and had a hole, so there's no way it was going to keep suction. So it's too late for me to go get another one. I swapped it with the one that was here, and let me show you the redneck engineering I got going on here. Now, eventually what I'm going to do is either, once I get this sorted, I'm going to clean this really good and either just tape it or seal it somehow. I'll put maybe just another piece of plastic that I can screw this down and, you know, keep it from leaking and fuming and stuff, leaking fumes. But here's what we got. So I took that oil thing, and what we have here now is a Gatorade bottle, a Libby's pineapple juice bottle, let me see, and then the original motor oil. Let me show you what we have to do here. So I had originally the hose on the top and then feeding through here, but when I put it in here, all it wanted to do was keep flipping over. So what I did, some solid, at least a level 3 redneck engineering. I put a paint stick, some brass fittings, and the weight is on the bottom now. So now it's going to stay down and it's going to pull the top. That's probably 2.5 inches maybe, but it's better than pulling from the bottom. Now I could probably just leave it with the thing, but I want that little spout down in there. And then I have the hose kind of floating up, so it's not like dragging the back end down. And then there's enough hose in there so as it goes down, it'll still stay, hopefully, level. And we will, I think I'm gonna just get some, clean this with some carbon choke cleaner and just hit this with some Gorilla Tape real quick. I screwed another hole here. We got it plumbed up. I probably will have to prime it, which I'm gonna do right through this, push the stuff down in there. This thing actually held a little bit of oil. I should have let it stay in there. That's a problem. I gotta put a hose clamp there. So yeah, we're gonna see how the waste oil centrifuge pump setup 2.0 works. Now we will not be pulling from the top, and as you can see, there's our funnel that goes straight to the bottom. So all this dirty stuff go in here, pump it straight to the bottom. I can pump new stuff in there while I'm running and not worry about the dirty, sludgy stuff getting up to my good stuff, you know, for the most part. Now eventually what I'm going to do is the same exact setup into another settling tank, so that I really won't be getting no sludge when I'm pulling out. Because look at this. Let me get a paint stick so you can kind of see what's going on here. This is from almost an 80-hour run at 3.78 something gallons an hour. And that is some thick. I can't believe it pulled out that much more sludge. That just tells me that we definitely need 2 passes. I'm almost tempted. Actually, I don't have time right now to do a 3rd pass. We're just gonna send that stuff. I'll run the rest of it through a screw-on filter before I pump it in my truck after it's blended. We'll thin it down a little bit, and then we'll run it through some filters right before we pump it into the truck. But that's 80 hours, man. That's some sludgy stuff. So what I'm thinking is we need another centrifuge. So we're gonna have to I'd really like to experiment when I have more time next month. I'm gonna experiment with smaller batches, maybe 10 gallons at a time. We'll run 10 gallons, or even if we just run 5 gallons. I'm gonna run it through. I could do it in a day. You know, we run 5 gallons, run it back through, and then run it through. Matter of fact, I'll just keep running it through and see what we pull out each time, and then what I'll do is I'll get jars. We'll go up to like maybe 5. We'll do 5 times at, you know, 5 gallons. That last one was like less than 4 gallons an hour. So it really had time to sit in that bowl, man. And I'm telling you, a paper filter ain't gonna get that. Paper filters ain't getting that much sludge. You gotta realize that whole tote, I cleaned that first bowl 4 times. The first time was nasty. Maybe not as this. I'll tell you what this is right here. This is more, the stuff on the wall here is way more dense. That's real thick, sludgy, carbon-like stuff. Okay? And then we have a problem up here. Well, it's not a problem with the machine. It's a problem with my thing not being level. And I think this is the noise I was hearing. The holes over there, we have a decent amount of water sitting here. So that bowl was probably slinging. And we could have contaminated the oil. I don't know. But being that this was a 2nd pass, and who knows how much stuff was actually in there, because I let it run for days, man. Days that thing was trickling down. I'm gonna get that cleaned out. I'm gonna shim. Let's see, it's over there. So I'm gonna slightly shim this one, and then I'm gonna shim that a little more. Now ultimately, probably want this thing as flat as possible. So I'll probably go get a level and level this off. I might just need to put a shim over there, but I need that water to be pooling on that side. And I don't know if that water was there only from, you know what, honestly, I don't remember ever actually looking up in here. I do see moisture in there. I don't remember actually looking in there and see if that water was pulling. I figured it was just draining down, because there would always be like a gallon in there. But I'll stick a small shim under that one. Maybe I'll just take these little pieces of plastic, put them under there. I don't know, we might have to go as thick as the paint paddle. But let me get this all cleaned up. Now what's good about this is I just scrape this out, really, with a plastic scraper or this, and then I just used a paper towel to wipe it out, and it cleaned right up, you know. So as real interesting stuff, man. The PO BioDiesel Ultimate Force Centrifuge is actually pretty impressive, man. The amount of stuff it's pulling out. You know, I just don't see you getting that out of a filter, out of a medium filter. And when I used to do the filter system, I would clog, and that's what was clogging the filters. But I was pressurizing, I was pushing it through the filters, man. And I'm sure it would push some of that stuff through it. So I'm pretty happy with the results, what it's pulling out. I really would like to run that oil one more time. Maybe I'll take a sampling of it and run that again. But we're gonna once we get set up in the permanent spot, which is not going to be right here, we're going to do some experiments running it through, but ultimately the 1 pass, 2 pass, I'm looking for time efficiency, and I think what I'm going to do is probably get another machine, either another PO BioDiesel or a make my own. I mean, ultimately I'd like to stack them one right into the next, maybe 3 machines, and up the RPMs each time, you know. So I don't know, that's something down the line, but for now this machine is working great. The only problem I'm having is swapping the hoses. That's kind of annoying, not having enough, like a pump for each tote, but that's expensive, man. Those pumps ain't cheap. So the best way to do it, like I said, we're gonna build a manifold here. We need one on this side, we need one on that side, and I need a manifold here, or maybe I only need one manifold here. I don't need one on the back side of that. Oh yeah, I do need one on the back side of that, in case I'm going from tote to tote and not tote to centrifuge. I need a manifold here, and I think we'll be golden, man. I think this will be a solid setup. I'm really happy with the centrifuge. Oh, and that last one, so the first one I only did like 2/3 of it with the heater. That was all heater, 80 hours of heat, about 150 degrees on average. And yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing dialed back up, cleaned up, and we're gonna start spinning oil. We're gonna keep this thing going. I gotta figure what I'm gonna do with diesel fuel and where we're gonna put that, because we're out of room. Honestly, we need at least 8 totes for the way I want to do this, so I can run 2 and blend and have diesel on hand. We're gonna need 8 totes, and you know, maybe some more pumps, because pumping it from down here up there, that pump is it takes too long. I got some other options I want to explore with that once we get dialed in and I work all the kinks out. So let's get this cleaned up and start spinning some more oil. Okay, I got this thing all dialed back in the way it's supposed to be, but I am noticed this thing is vibrating more than it was. So I'm not sure what happened, or if that bearing got messed up because this thing was out of whack. Now I used my 4-foot level and I leveled this thing. It took that many shims to level this thing out. I don't know what the deal is with that, but we should be pretty level. Now let's fire this thing up. This thing's set on 60. We're gonna run it like that, see if it primes itself. Oh, yeah, it primed itself. She's primed. We're going down, down, down. Come on, baby, go down. I think we were at 4 or 5. I'm just gonna run it at 5. See what that gives us. Let me plug the heater in. Let me verify we're actually pumping first. Oh yeah, pumping the good stuff right off the top. You know what, I am going to bring that down to 4 or 5 just to keep it consistent. And turn on our cooling fan. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this stuff up, and so if there's a gallon and we're running 5 gallons a minute, it should take about 20 minutes before we start seeing fluid come out of there. So now that that's running, we can turn the heat on. We want to make sure that our first pass we do pretty much all heat. We're gonna have to get switches for that. Like I said, I'm gonna build a whole panel where I just bring 220 into a sub panel and then have all this stuff on its own breaker with switches. And you know, this is gonna be a dialed system, man, because we plan on using the crap out of this oil. I was just looking for another diesel piece of equipment that this thing will definitely be used for. So hopefully here soon we get some temps coming up and get some oil in our bin, man. I'm gonna get this thing full. I want to hurry up and get that thing back up in there. Now that that's working, I can go ahead and start introducing the rest. I got another 100 gallons to put in here, and it'll probably just be about taking it. So I got to figure what I'm going to do with this. I don't want that open like that. I might screw in like a rubber flap or something and figure a way of actually sealing that back up pretty good. And even this here, I'd like to seal that, even though that only has a spot that big of oil. That we want to have all this sealed up the best we can. And then we're gonna put a suction system with basically an exhaust that goes up in the air out of the way, and then we'll just have it exhausting out constantly. Tap onto, oh, here we go. Oh, that's hot. Oh, she shot way up. See, this thing is vibrating way more. I'm wondering if maybe a bearing got messed up, that thing running sideways. But once it started spinning, it shouldn't have been a problem. Unless it was down there getting into that puddle. I don't know. I'll talk to the guy about it and see what we got going on here. But I mean, it's not too bad, but it's definitely vibrating more than it was before. And it seems like this I think I might isolate that off of the machine. I don't know. We got options, man. We got things to do. But for now, we're just gonna let this thing eat. So it's getting late. I'm gonna clean this up, and I'm gonna start gathering stuff up to I got to go get different fit-ins because I thought I had the right fit-ins. I mean, I guess that'll work. I just got to find small hose clamps. That's kind of, this came with my best arc welder. This was a gas tube for like air or you know, argon. I don't know if it's going to be working for this, but we'll find out here in a minute. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Dancing. You ever seen your copper dancing before?